Zenobia was the queen of the Palmyrene Empire from 267 to 272 AD. Under her rule, Palmyra expanded from modern Syria all the way from Iraq through Turkey and into Egypt. Although not much is known of Zenobia's ancestry, she was likely of noble descent, and may have even been a descendant of Cleopatra. She was married to Odarenathus, the king of the Palmyrene Empire, and she bore him a son named Vabalithus. Zenobia, in full Septimia Zenobia, Aramaic Zenwbia bat Zabai, died after 274, queen of the Roman colony of Palmyra, in present-day Syria, from 267 or 268 to 272. She conquered several of Rome's eastern provinces before she was subjugated by the Emperor Aurelian, ruled 270 to 275, less than 100 years after Zenobia's reign. Athanasius of Alexandria called her a Jewess in his History of the Aryans. Zenobia, the rebel queen who took on Rome. This ancient queen of Palmyra conquered Egypt, captured Roman provinces, and nearly transformed her realm into an empire equal to Rome. Wealth, culture, and power dwelled in the city of Palmyra in the 3rd century AD. Although not much is known of Zenobia's ancestry, she was likely of noble descent, and may have even been a descendant of Cleopatra. She was married to Odarenathus, the king of the Palmyrene Empire, and she bore him a son named Vabalithus. Back then, Palmyra was subordinate to the Roman Empire. Under Odarenathus's rule, the relationship between the two states remained friendly. Palmyra served as a border between the Roman Empire and the Persian Empire. However, the Sassanid Persians had been causing a good deal of trouble for the Romans, as they had access to eastern trade borders in and out of Rome. In 260 AD, the Roman Emperor Valerian attempted to march against the Sassanids but was defeated. Following his defeat, Odarenathus went to battle against the Persians and was successfully able to drive them out of Syria and across the Euphrates River. This act greatly benefited the Romans and served to strengthen ties between the two empires. The Romans made Odarenathus the governor of the eastern part of the Roman Empire. Odarenathus later styled himself King of Palmyra and even King of Kings. The glory days of Odarenathus didn't last long. In 267 AD, Odarenathus and his first son were both murdered by a relative named Meonius. After his death, Zenobia's son, Vabalithus, inherited the throne. But at the time of his father's death, Vabalithus was still a child. So Zenobia took control, ruling the Palmyrene Empire as regent. At the beginning of her rule, she followed in her husband's footsteps, working along with Rome's interests. However, the Roman Empire was undergoing its imperial crisis, and internal conflicts prevented the empire from maintaining control far beyond the borders of Rome. With the center of Rome crumbling, Zenobia turned her focus to expanding her own empire. In 269 AD, she focused on strengthening her own military and concentrating her power in the east. In 270 AD, she broke off friendly relations with Rome and began taking over their lands. She began by annexing Egypt in 270 AD, defeating the Roman army led by Probus, admiral to Emperor Claudius II Gothicus. With her hold on Egypt secured, she turned her attention to securing Asia Minor and Phoenicia. She also focused on establishing diplomatic ties and negotiating trade agreements with neighboring lands to further strengthen her empire. Using her power in a variety of ways must have been key to Queen Zenobia's success. And she saw plenty of that for years. With Egypt, Asia Minor, and the Levant under her control by 271, she broke all ties from Rome, declaring Palmyra an independent empire and herself its empress.
Fall of Queen Zenobia's. In 271 AD, the Roman Emperor Aurelian set out on a campaign to defeat Zenobia and reclaim the lands now under her rule. Bringing his strongest forces, the two clashed at the Battle of Emei in the city of Daphne in 272 AD. Aurelian's military overpowered Zenobia's forces and she retreated to the city of Emesa to regain supplies and manpower. There, the two armies clashed again, with Aurelian again emerging victorious. So how did the powerful queen's unstoppable soldiers get crushed just like that? Experts think a few different factors may have played a role in Aurelian's victory. For instance, his soldiers were said to be lightly armored, as opposed to Zenobia's men who wore very heavy armor. Perhaps the hefty layers the Queen's soldiers had on tired them out while pursuing enemies before they could actually fight them. Additionally, the element of surprise on Aurelian's part could have certainly worked in his favor. While Zenobia's soldiers had been prepared to charge at enemies on the terrain where they were based, they probably weren't expecting another cavalry to use their own terrain against them. With no other place to seek refuge, Zenobia fled back to Palmyra to regroup and shore up its defenses in preparation for another attack. What happened to Queen Zenobia? Upon entering Palmyra, Aurelian laid siege to the city. Queen Zenobia attempted to flee towards Persia but was caught and brought back to Aurelian. There are several differing accounts of what happened following Zenobia's capture. Some accounts claim she was brought back to Rome and paraded through the streets in chains in Aurelian's celebration of triumph. Others say that she never made it to Rome at all, having either starved or poisoned herself on the journey back. But most reliable sources agree that she eventually married a wealthy Roman man, and lived out the rest of her life in a comfortable villa by the Tiber River. However her final days may have played out, Zenobia is still remembered today as one of history's most powerful queens. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.